Thank you, Miss Poetry. Thank you indeed. Wait, just a minute. Who is Miss Poetry and who am I? And why am I thanking Miss Poetry? No worries. Let me answer all the questions one by one. I am known as Sonali Dutta, also known as Mrs. Das. What do I do? I am a computer engineer working in the IT industry for the past 9 years by God's grace. Then why am I here? Like in Anchor app for podcasts? But why? Good question. To answer this, let me tell you a thing about it. By God's grace, I have been writing poems for the past 17 years and have been through various kinds of feelings and realizations with the passage of time. When you have a story to tell, but do not really have anyone to literally sit in front of you and listen to it, then what do you do with that story? You then probably tell it to yourself. Yes, I had published my book of 180 poems by God's grace for the sake of those poems alone. Then I thought my job is done. But no. Very soon I realized there are so many stories building up on the background of the stories that I told through those poems as well. Now, what would happen to those stories? And who's going to sit and listen to them? No, probably no one. Your thing with your writing is yours. And until it is a thing with the reader as well, your storytelling is not complete yet. So here I am, once again, exploring the way forward, all alone, all by myself, to accompany the stories that urge to barge into the world through me by God's grace. Here, in this show, I will discuss my poems and the stories in them and the stories about them one by one. I will also discuss and read the beautiful and interesting reviews about the poems in my book that I have been receiving by God's grace. Who knows if those stories or the stories about those stories or my storytelling gives you a good night's sleep someday, or an energetic morning on another day, or accompany you when you feel completely lonely, just like my poems. With a new enthusiasm, I am diving into this. Let's see how far it goes to find myself in you and you to find yourself in my poems. Just another mode of conversation. Thank You, Miss Poetry is the name of my first book, which is still waiting to be read and loved by you. And I will talk about my Miss Poetry eventually in my upcoming episodes. Hope you like this introduction and wait for me to tell you stories to sleep with a comforting smile. Bye-bye.